Stand and cheer for the Panthers. Stand and cheer for the team. The pride of both Carolinas and city of the Queen. Carolina! Stand and cheer for the Panthers. In our grand old day. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina for a Panther football game.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Panthers Brawl. As always, alongside my co-hosts Jeff Taylor, Sean T. Stewart, and Tyler Habersky. I'm Jack Taylor, and this is episode 12 now of the Panthers Brawl. Before we get into it,
Sean T's though with the good social distancing.
Yes, he's practicing, wearing a mask, even though he's in a house by himself. But hey, you always got to be careful. Where did you get that, Sean T's?
So my mom hooked me up, right? She's got a person. She got a person to give us the hookup on all these masks now, since everybody's having to wear a mask outside because social distancing, coronavirus, and all that. So she took the liberty upon herself to go get me a mask. She didn't tell me what kind she was getting me. I didn't know it was a special kind, but she ended up buying me a Panthers mask. So I mean, it's lit.
That's awesome.
It looks hype. So what I've been wearing is they had it when we went to the NFC Championship game back in 2015. It's been a long time since the Panthers had a playoff game at that time of January. And so this is around the time in Charlotte where we were experiencing a polar vortex, which what that means is icy wind, and that's all it was. And we had our school was canceled for like a week. It was hilarious. But so it was Sunday night, and it was supposed to be like below, it was snowing all that morning. And so it wasn't like a lot of snow because it's Charlotte. And it was basically like cold slush. But the wind was insane. So they were giving out these basically like, I don't know what you call them. Face warmers or something, and it's got like Panthers print on it. If I had known, I would have put mine on too. But that's what I've been using because it covers your whole face, and so I whenever I go out, I use that too. So
I think I wore it today.
Did you?
Oh, I think I wore it.
I just clean it though.
Yeah, we did.
We have a couple of them. We had one that we just let the dog have as like a bandana or whatever, but I didn't wear that one, so that's good. As y'all saw, we have a lot of Panthers memorabilia that we've acquired over the years in our last Money in the Bank. Jeff was nice enough to show us around the sports room, as we so fondly call it.
It was cool.
And we'd love to see what y'all have in your houses, and I know what y'all are using to cope with, because we use the sports room now to watch old games and to play Madden and to cope with the cabin fever that we're getting. So be sure to tweet at us at Panthers Brawl or at Brawl Network, and then hashtag Brawl Network with and it doesn't even have to be Panthers, because obviously as you saw in ours, it wasn't just Panthers, it was Titans, Seahawks, and Patriots. So any team will do. We just want to see what y'all got, because it's really cool memorabilia that people acquire over the years, whether it's cards or signatures or stuff like that. But going into this week, like we said, as the coronavirus and the quarantine keeps continuing on, the stories get a little bit far harder to come by. So, Tyler, what did you find for us this week?
Yeah, like you said, we're kind of reaching here for some of these national stories just with these unprecedented times. But, a member of the Chargers organization actually did test positive for coronavirus. We've been kind of touching on the GOAT tournament that Bleacher Report's been doing these past few episodes, and actually it ended with the Packers team winning the whole entire tournament. Their all-time roster in Madden ended up winning the simulation. And then finally, we're back another week, and some more uniforms are being made, and that's the Browns have a whole new look for this upcoming season.
A whole new looks
boring.
I would say that's a touchy word, because it's basically just what they had beforehand. Which exactly. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion. I liked what they had beforehand. I thought it was nice.
I think it's fine. I didn't like the new uniforms anyway. I wasn't too fond of the full new school thing.
You just said the exact opposite of what I said. I said I liked the old ones.
Oh, you like the old ones?
I like the ones that they just had before this. I liked it. Yeah.
It's the Browns.
You have to make that crap color scheme look nice, and those old uniforms did that.
You can't make it look nice.
I thought it did. So the one thing they didn't use, they kept the helmets. No, the helmets are kind of clean. The helmets are kind of clean, actually. The nothing on it, that's kind of nice. I don't know, but I just love that someone had someone had a concept made. It was changing like the Browns helmets, because apparently, I didn't hear anything about them changing the uniforms. I thought it was kind of a surprise, but apparently people in the Browns world did, and so they had it, and it was the Browns helmet with the helmet logo inside on the helmet. So you had a helmet and then a helmet on it.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious.
Like a mini helmet.
That would be hilarious. I would love to see. You would never get that though in a million years. I mean, some people are going to a little bit more, throwback, or I guess more standard versions. Some people are going more modern. You kind of get it either way. But obviously the biggest news of the week for Panthers fans is obviously the extension of Christian McCaffrey. It was a 4-year, $64 million deal. And he's now the highest paid running back in the NFL currently, surpassing Zeke, Saquon. I mean, all the guys that are supposedly better than him, and he was sat down at a desk and told was better than him. Well, he was just sitting there going, I think I had a good season. But I mean, obviously we all know in the NFL world that, especially in professional football, the lifespan of running backs and the kind of negative connotations of paying running backs. So what were y'all's thoughts on just the structure of the deal? Not whether or not you liked it or not, or you agree with it, but just thoughts about the money, the length, and especially the timing of where the team is at right now.
I'll defer to those guys.
So we're not talking about whether we like the deal or not. I mean, if that's the case, then I mean it's fine. It's what you should do for a guy that does what he does. He does a lot more than just run the ball in between the tackles. He's a receiver as well. He's I think he was second on the team in receptions.
He's definitely getting up there. I know he was leading in receiving. I think he was our leading receiver for the majority of the 2018 season.
Exactly. For a guy that does that, I mean, he's getting what I think Le'Veon Bell tried to get a year or two ago, and he was actually looked at and paid as a more than just a running back. He's a weapon. He's a all around weapon. So I mean, I'm a fan of it. I think it was the right thing to do, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was something that was just bound to happen, especially, I mean, you draft him at 8 overall, and, he's been such an important part of the offense these last few years. And can you just imagine what our offense would have been like without him and how bad it was already? And then,
is what it
yeah. So he gets he's the largest paid running back contract of all time, and he was just next up. I mean, somebody's going to get more than him in a few years. It's just always resets like that. So I'm glad that they never risked him holding out of an off season or any of that, and just got it done, early and just got it taken care of. So we're still waiting on the details of the contract. I'm hoping it's, front loaded in the first few years, but I mean, we'll just have to see.
I think the money, obviously he deserves it. As Shanti said, I mean, I don't even look at him as a running back. I look at him as a weapon. I'm not sure that a running back will get that close. I think it's $16 million a year. Mm-hmm. That's going to be up there, and you look at, a lot of people keep talking about Derrick Henry and what he's going to get. But it's just a different thing. I think you think about that offensive weapon. So the money I'm cool with. I think he deserved it. I think what's more important, though, I like the timing. And I like the timing because they got it done. They got it done in enough time before the season started. But I think that Panthers fans just needed that little bit of good news. They needed that something to kind of, just put somebody in the seats and go with a little momentum. So I think the timing, to me, was even a little more important than money. You had to get it done. And I think they did it at a time where he gets the recognition he deserves. It gets the press that it deserves. And, and it gets fans excited. So I think the timing was even better than the money.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Has Derrick Henry got restructured his new deal yet? Or he was tagged?
He's tagged.
I didn't know if they did anything with it. Do you think Derrick Henry his contract will precede that? Will exceed what McCaffrey got?
I think that, even right now as a tag, he's getting $12 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
He makes $12 million this year, Derrick Henry does. So I think, 14, and like Tyler said, I mean, and we all know, the running back deal, if it's front loaded, that's great. I think he'll get somewhere between 14 and 15. I don't know if he'll get to 16, but like we keep coming back to what Shanti said, he is a weapon. You're basically getting a slot receiver and a running back for the price, so it's two players in terms of one price. So I don't think Derrick Henry will come close to that. He may. It just depends on what the Titans want to do. But it's two different beasts. But I think Christian deserved what he got, being the highest paid in the history at that spot.
Yeah, and like you said, I think it was definitely something that was supposed to it was almost like saving face at this point. All these other things that had happened, and he's been. I don't want to go into it already, but bottom line, do y'all agree with? And it could be any aspect of the deal, whether it was the timing or whether it was paying a running back that much, just paying. What were y'all's general thoughts as a fan? Not as an analyst, not as someone who's trying to figure out the state of the team, just as a fan. What are your thoughts? Did you agree with it?
Well, as a fan, I was it doesn't sit well that you pay a running back before you pay a quarterback. That's just the fan, and that may be analytical too. But usually you don't do that. Just usually what you don't do. But I also understood that McCaffrey's such a different case that you can't really look at it from that lens. So as a fan, I mean, yeah, I'm happy that we made sure we kept our star player. Like, keep your best player on the team. And so it kind of ensured to me that, okay, like, we're not going to a full-blown tank like we thought we were going to just a few weeks ago. So it kind of keeps, pushing the notion that, okay, this team's actually trying to compete. How good we'll be, we don't know, but at least they're trying from what it looks like from the front office.
I'm going to go kind of with what you said, but I'm going to flip it around just a hair real quick. You talked about paying the quarterback first. Pay the quarterback, then pay your running back. So you kind of wish that they'd have paid Cam or taken care of that and done it that way. But on the reverse side, and I'll go back to the Titans or whatever, because again, Tannehill, I mean, they gave Tannehill the contract. I kind of wish they would have given Derek the contract and not Ryan. So I'm going to flip-flop it there and go,
I'm sorry, what?
I wish Derek would have gotten the contract and tagged Tannehill. And you can,
but with
like
that team, that makes sense. That what? I didn't forget that conversation we had.
I know, but here's the gist. In the realm of things, and I know what you guys say and think about Tannehill, but tagging somebody goes, hey, everybody's like, Tannehill did it last year. Will he do it this year? This was the perfect situation to go, we're going to tag him and pay Derrick Henry. Tag Tannehill, make him prove it one more year, then you can give him the contract. I think he will be a great passer. I think they'll go to the, whatever, man.
Just sounds familiar. It's
he's better than what y'all got right now, so let's be real. But we'll talk about that later. That's another show.
We'll say that for a different
time.
When
y'all draft Jordan Love at 7, then we'll talk about it.
You can take it down right here, right now. I have it on recording. If the Panthers, because I said the same thing with the Hornets. I said to the Hornets that if Kemba Walker was not on the team, but Nick Batum was at the end of the season, I was not going to pay for tickets. I was not going to watch the game. I would still keep my notifications on, and I would still wear the jerseys, but I'm not giving you any money. If the Panthers draft Jordan Love at number 7 overall, I'm not paying for tickets. I'm not watching games. Well, my notifications will be on. If you want to take me to a game, that by all means, take me to a game. But you will lose any sort of support that you had from me. And I know, Tepper, that's all you're relying on that. So you can have it here in recording, in audio recording, that is what will happen. But going back to what
we're
talking about Tyler,
pull back the right way, Tyler.
What were your thoughts? Did you agree with it overall?
Yeah, so Twitter will debate the running back. Should you pay the running backs or not? And, I don't think the deal was anything to be mad about from that perspective, just because you kind of knew by drafting him at 8 overall that you were going to eventually pay him. And, you want to keep your first-round picks, locked up long-term. And, as Shantice was saying, like, he's more than just a running back, and he's a weapon in the passing game. And I'm not sure, he wouldn't be a, top 25 receiver in the NFL if he switched to receiver. So, I mean, there's that. And so I think as a fan, it would just be hard to watch that offense without him next year. So I'm glad, we get more McCaffrey.
Yeah. So, and kind of I said it a couple weeks back, and I still kind of do believe it. And it just depends on how the next couple of years go, because now they've given McCaffrey this money. And that was the problem with Kemba, is that the Hornets didn't want to give him the money that he deserved. But I compared it a couple weeks back. It was the same sort of Kemba Walker situation. You've now kind of cleared out all of the, and it wasn't the same thing, because honestly, when you look at this offense on paper, again, other than that offensive line, and it's very unproven, but there are bright spots, there are weapons, and there are positive aspects to it, more so than the defense now. So, I want to say that McCaffrey's all by himself, but in reality, he's not. He's not really all by himself. He still has the cat pack. He's now adding Robbie Anderson and Teddy Bridgewater. That's not an awful squad. It's not a top 10 squad, mind you, but it's definitely middle to maybe even reaching up into the top 15 in the NFL. So, but in my mind now, it's kind of like we said, we had, that picture from Thanksgiving Day. It was all the captains. Every one of those captains is gone. Charles Johnson, Jonathan Stewart, Ryan Khalil, Thomas Davis, Kuechly, Cam. They're all Olsen. They're all gone. And so to my mind, it's like, okay, McCaffrey's sitting there like John Travolta going, where is everybody? So I hope that they don't create a situation like that where you waste McCaffrey's talent with now surrounding him with nobody, just kind of like, hey, they kind of wasted Cam's talent without surrounding him with nobody. But, like you said, personally, I think the deal will pay off in the long run, solely because it's kind of like what we've said. I mean, running backs are supposed to have shorter shelf lives. They're supposed to be, impactful for short bursts of time at the beginning of their careers and then start to fade off. You've seen it around the league. In my mind, McCaffrey has been the sole bright spot of the Panthers offense for the last 2 years or so. Pretty much the only consistent factor in the offense. And I think not even and consistent in a way to where he's consistently healthy. I think he's played more snaps in the NFL than any other skill position has in the last 3 years, than any other skill position player. I won't give you, because offensive linemen, defensive linemen, or offensive linemen play an incredible amount of snaps, but McCaffrey's got to be definitely up there in that that upper percentile. But also, McCaffrey's been developing each and every year. Like, it's not like we've just barely been using him. And we didn't start his first year, but we still got a lot of usage out of him. Second year, he started to be more used as a running back, but he couldn't really, run in the trenches. He couldn't go through the A gap or the B gap. This year, we saw so many touchdowns where he was bursting out of the middle of the offense, running for 70, 80-yard touchdowns. We saw it at least, I would say 4 or 5 times. And that was one of the biggest problems when we had McCaffrey, was people are like, he can't run through in between the tackles. Why do we draft him? Now he's proven that he can do that. So I think he's going to continue to develop until he hits whatever ceiling he has, because I don't know what his ceiling is. But what are y'all's thoughts about the deal?
The reason why I was happy about the deal. So what?
If it'll pay off or not?
Oh, if it'll pay off? Yeah, it'll pay off. I mean, at least it's a 4-year deal. I think, it'll definitely pay off. I think if McCaffrey's still producing to the point where, let's say his production dips a little bit, and he's given us 1,700 yards receiving. It's still 1,700 yards of total offense. That's still gonna that's still gonna cut it. I couldn't see him taking a precipitous, like a big drop at any point within the next couple of years. So I definitely think that deal's gonna be worth it, especially early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's concerning about McCaffrey is just, how much of a snap percentage he plays. But I think what he does well, compared to like a lot of running backs in the league, he protects himself and doesn't get, take these big hits. And he stayed, generally pretty healthy. So I think, he's a guy that can finish those 4 years and then maybe look to another contract. And I think so. Yeah, it'll pay off. And I just couldn't imagine, him leaving in the next few years and then, playing against him. I just don't think that would sit well with the city, the fans, or the locker room.
I think, when we talk about will it pay off, I think it better. Let me just put it to you like that. Whether it will or won't, it better. And I think I look at it in 2 ways. Number one, if it doesn't, and this goes south somehow, the relevance of the Carolina Panthers just goes away. I just see them falling into this sea of mediocrity that'll just be the Cleveland Browns or the Cincinnati Bengals or something. You know what I'm getting at, guys? Yeah. There's just this realm of it better pay off. We need him to be that star, and we need him to be that upper echelon talent in the NFL, or it's going to, the relevance of the Panthers kind of goes by the wayside because he is their star. The other part is I think it's imperative that it pays off for David Tepper. I think as the owner, you've made some moves, you've ticked some people off. It's imperative that he comes in, he plays ball. He balls out, he produces, and maybe gets this team with the talent he's got around him. Maybe they go, whatever the season's going to be, 9-7, 10-6, and gets them to a wild card spot. So I think for the relevance of the Panthers and imperative to Tepper as his, being an owner, it better.
Yeah, and I think, and it's also, because God forbid, say he gets injured. And you come back and you get injured for something you can't come back from, like, knock on wood, God in heaven, please don't, like an ACL tear. Then
well, people want to see that. People are going to want to come to Bank of America Stadium for one reason. Yeah. And that is to see CMC run the football or catch the football and put on the show he does. Everybody else, that's great, whatever. That is what's going to put people in the seats. And like you say, tears an ACL or does something like that and he's out for 18 months. Yeah, I don't know.
I do want to see, though, from the Panthers, especially this year, because I think they wanted to use what I feel like they tried to do with this rookie contract was try to feel him out, see how much we could get him to do, how many different places and positions and situations we could put him in, and see if he could still perform either way. You saw he was everywhere on the field most of these last couple of years, and it wasn't until sort of the latter end of this year that he started getting. I mean, because even when we had, C.J. Anderson or when we had, Fozzie and Cap, they weren't really ever doing anything. They never really were. I mean, C.J. was doing a little bit, and then you saw him take off for the Rams. The one thing I saw this year that I like that I want to see some more, especially now that we've given him this long-term deal and we know we need to keep his longevity up, is honestly let Reggie get a couple more touches. Reggie had a great game, the whole great month of October, actually. He had 2 straight games in October where he burst out for big touchdowns, and it was the same kind of place as McCaffrey. It was in the middle, in between the tackle runs, and he had a burst of speed. I think, especially now that we've re-signed Reggie and kind of let everybody else kind of go, I think you start to, not right away, maybe after the first 6 weeks or so, or in games that we start to get up. That's why Reggie was able to get, it was the Jags game, and I believe the Titans game as well, where McCaffrey, we were up by at least 2 touchdowns, and they were like, all right, McCaffrey, come on, let's let Reggie get some touches. And Reggie performed with those touches. So that's something I want to see, because now that you're trying to keep his longevity up, I mean, not like a smash and dash type of thing or a dual running back kind of thing, but just if we're up by a touchdown or 2, or if we think the game's kind of locked up, or later in the season, put Reggie in, let him get some reps and see what we, that way we're not running McCaffrey into the ground, because that's my other problem. Not even just injuries, but just, he hasn't burnt out, and he's like, if he was going to burn out, it should have been last year. Like, that's where we should have seen a burnout, but he seemed to be pretty steady in his performance. So I'm just afraid that if it continues that way, how long can he hold on, But moving on, so we got a little kind of a segment. We've been, especially throughout this period where there's nothing else that we can really do, it's been a big time for reminiscing. So in the last couple of weeks, we've talked about, memorabilia. We've talked about favorite, years for the Panthers, favorite non-Super Bowl teams, just stuff like that. So, and you saw, if you watched the Money in the Bank, we had the Panthers-Patriots game on in the background, and now with NFL Pass allowing to have free access and having almost every, I haven't seen how far back it goes, but they have a huge catalog of games that you can watch, full games, whether it's condensed or whatever. So I want to know, what is your favorite Panthers game, just of all time, whether it was in your lifetime or not, whether you got to see it in person or not, whether it was playoff or not? What was your favorite game as a Panthers fan? And it could be the same answer, different answer. I hope it's different answers, but it's also probably the same answer.
I want to let Todd shoot first. I'm probably gonna go with a throwback one.
Yeah, I'll take a different angle on this one, just because I've only been to one Panthers game in my life. Living in Pennsylvania, it's obviously hard to get to games. But in 2012, we played the Raiders at home. I was actually at that game. That was when something happened with Cam Newton. I think you were at that game. You were actually?
I'm fairly certain I went to a Raiders game. I was talking to Shantiz about this. I went to a Raiders game a couple of years, I think it was that game. We've only ever played the Raiders at home so many times.
Yeah.
And so somehow
we were sitting next to each other.
We just had no idea.
We had no idea, yeah. But that game was pretty crazy, because they had Terrell Pryor, who was starting to look good for them. And then I'll just remember that game, D'Angelo Williams had a really good game, and also Cam got into some fight or whatever with the ref. That game. Yeah.
Was that when he was chirping back and forth with the ref?
He might have pushed him. I don't know. But it was just a crazy experience, and just being in this, you guys will know better than me, but just being in the area, it was just, such a nice pregame, and it was just a crazy experience.
Okay. So for me, I'm going with our season finale of that 05 season, so it would have been 2006 technically. But we played Atlanta in Atlanta, and we won that game 44-16. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Deshaun Foster went for 200 yards rushing that day, if I'm not mistaken. And it was rolling right into the playoffs. So then then we go on a nice playoff run and beat New York and Chicago the next couple of weeks. But that's probably my favorite Panthers game of all time.
Okay. So for me, the first Panther game that I went to as a fan, I covered one beforehand, but the first game I ever went to was the season opener of 2003, September the 7th.
Against the
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
And it was, if you guys may remember, they were down 17-0 at the half. Do you know who the starting quarterback was?
Rodney Peete.
I would not have guessed that.
John Fox benched Rodney Peete and brought in Jake Delhomme.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the Jake Delhomme era. And he actually was down 17-14 with 20 seconds to go. We were sitting in the end zone. He threw a 20-yard pass to Ricky Prohl that gave them the win, and we were in the end zone that they were celebrating in. But I remember just watching Jake come in and play that game and being a part of that, and just the energy that was there as Jake came in. And Jake and his rambunctious energy and stuff. That was pretty cool to be at and see. That's probably my all-time favorite.
Okay, now getting a little bit on the other side of the spectrum, a little less fun. But what was your least favorite game as a Panthers fan or as a spectator, whatever you want to call yourself?
I would go. I'm gonna go the last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just all the hype and just all the build up, and it just kind of that was it just blocked.
Yeah, me too. That was one of the worst days ever. Period. I mean, there's just so much expectation. I thought there was no way the Broncos would win. I really didn't. But then, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, there you go.
Y'all must didn't read the conspiracy theories before that game. I could have told y'all, but I guess for me it's gonna have to be that 08 playoff game against Arizona, because I can't. I cried. I cried real tears after that game. And what's so bad about that game is that after the game was over with, of course I had to go to school the next day. I had a nightmare about the game. He was still throwing picks.
That was God almighty. That's what a nightmare is. If it was a dream, we would have won it, and he wouldn't have thrown any picks. I remember I had a Jake Delhomme poster in my room. And literally the minute the game was done, I tore it off my wall and I threw it in the trash. I was like, I'm done with you, dude. Get off the team. I lost all my respect for Jake Delhomme in that game. And he was trying to keep my spirits. I'm like, come on, no, like it's Jake Delhomme. Like, look what he's done for the team. I'm like, nope, screw him. I don't care. I don't want to see his farmer boy face anymore. What about you, Joe?
What?
Do you have? Oh, you said it. Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
No.
See, the Cardinals and the Super Bowl obviously both come to mind. I still blame my friends for the Super Bowl loss because I always say I never liked watching games with friends, and and that year, like they were like, "Come on, let's have a Super Bowl party, let's do it." And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, Jack, your bonus room is so cool for sports. Like, come on, just have a few friends over. And I was like.
And I told people you've never watched a game with Jack Taylor.
And I was like, I don't want to do it. Like you know who I am.
You know what I'm talking about.
He doesn't even know. He hasn't watched the Panthers game with me.
Because here's the thing. I do the same thing. I don't watch games with friends or anything. I can't do it because
and it was of course fans too. Like and there were friends that were fans of other football teams. Like my one friend was fans of the Texans and the Redskins, and then it was a couple girls that just hadn't, like, one or two girls knew what was going on. Two of them didn't. They're like, oh my god, and I was like, you got to stop talking. You have to stop saying things. Like I can't. And so I literally I did not watch a single game with any. I don't watch games with people. Like even when I was in my dorm freshman year, like my roommate he was a Panthers fan. He would leave. He would go watch somewhere else. And my roommates, like my suite mates, feel like, Jack, are you having like a seizure in here? They would just hear things break. It's another awful game that comes to mind. I say my least favorite game, if I have to say one, would probably be the divisional round in 2014
against
at Seattle.
Yeah.
Where Cam with the pick six to Cam Chancellor, it was the big brother little brother story was going huge, and we had just beaten the Cardinals and handled them pretty well, and the Seahawks were already kind of our established rival, and it was going into it, and no one gave us any shot, and I was ready to like have that fuel them, and then we just kind of just continued to deteriorate. Another one that comes to mind is also the god awful week 16 game against the Falcons in 2015, where we had a perfect season going. We had kicked the crap out of the Falcons in the last time we played them, and we go into Atlanta, and Julio Jones, who had done nothing the entire game, somehow comes out, reaches over Luke Kuechly to get that game-winning touchdown and break our perfect streak. And that's all I heard about from people that weren't even Falcons fans or Panthers fans. Just in my school, be like, well, that sucks. You don't have a perfect record anymore. And I'm like, well, just wait to the Super Bowl, and lo and behold. And of course, the Cardinals game is always a big one that comes to mind. I'm trying to think of just some of the other ones. Yeah, at any time we lose to the Saints. This last Monday Night Football this past year Thursday night against the Bucs was pretty rough. That second or third game of the year, that was a close one. But now on to some happier stuff. So, top 5 Panther games of all time in your opinion. So it can be, again, same kind of thing, but just kind of encompassing because you there's so many good games that you can have both old and new. So like for mine, in no particular order, obviously the 2015 NFC Championship game against the Cardinals. Got to go to that, got to see that. Cheering at the end of it, Super Bowl, getting to see Cam lift the trophy. That's one of the coolest things you can experience aside from a Super Bowl. Hopefully I didn't take too many of y'all's. Monday Night Football against the Patriots. Again, that's another one I went to. Little brother's a big Patriots fan. But Monday night, under the lights, playing a team that nobody thought we were going to beat and beating them, whatever you want to say about that last play. But, of course, just the Ted Ginn touchdown. The Cam Newton scramble, the Ted Ginn touchdown, and I watched that game. You know what I realized? I knew that Steve Smith and Keith Lee were going at it the entire game.
Yeah.
Everyone was going at it the entire game. Luke Kuechly, I've never seen go.
Him and Logan Mankins were going back.
Dude, him and Logan Mankins were at each other's throats the entire game, and I've never seen Kuechly get that much in somebody's face and continue to do it. He would come up to some people at times, but he was in Mankins' face the entire game. And so being there, getting to see that live in Bank of America Stadium, that's always one I'll never forget. 2004 NFC divisional round against the Rams. I wasn't, coherent for that, but winning in overtime, Steve Smith walking it off, just all the great. That's got to be up there, no question.
Yeah.
And then another one, Thanksgiving Day, 2015, another game where we had our streak going, but everyone was like, "Oh, here comes Tony Romo back. Let's see if the Panthers can handle a real team." And the Cowboys, and I was like, "It's Tony Romo, come on!" And we just shut him up at home. The only Panthers game I've ever seen on Thanksgiving that at least I remember. I can't remember any time they played on Thanksgiving, and that was just fantastic. And then that division clinching game in 2013 against the Saints, last week of the year at home, back and forth the entire game. It was defensive, then to a shootout, and then of all the people in the world to catch the game-winning touchdown pass, it was Dominique Hickson.
Yes, sir.
Which I was like, even me, I knew who he was, but I was like, wait, who? Just because I was so, at that time, my first thought was Muhsin Muhammad, because I think he wore 87, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so those are my top 5. Hopefully I didn't steal any of y'all's. Jeff, hopefully you have 5.
I got 5.
You got 5? What was it? Did I steal any of yours?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, you go.
You ready?
Yeah,
All right.
That's it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, God.
So, my favorite 5 Panther games, outside of those.
Got it.
I'm going to go just my team here. The Titans and Panthers have played 5 times.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
They've played 5 times.
I should have seen this coming.
And I've been at 4 of the 5.
Have you actually?
I've been to 4 of the 5.
Huh. These are regular season?
Regular season games. I've been to 4 out of the 5.
Was the one?
I've been to 1. We went to Nashville.
Well, yeah, that one was awesome.
We went to Nashville for a father-son weekend, and that was awesome. We lost.
When Cam pissed off.
When Cam ticked off all the people by doing the dance in the end zone.
And then the mom wrote him a letter
saying she didn't appreciate
his.
Dude,
I forgot about that. Saying I was with my kid, you ruined my day.
Yeah, whatever.
Remember.
But so I've been at 4 of the 5, and so the other 3 have been here. That have been to
this last one.
And so the first 3 they played, the Titans won all 3, and then they've lost the last 2. Of course, the one they played there, whatever we lost, and then this year we lost whatever it was, 30-20 or.
Which, if we go back and look at that, it's a surprise we won that. Well, it's a much better win than
listen, we can go down another route because here's the deal: Derrick Henry ran the ball twice in the first half.
Oof.
The second half they came out, they handed the ball to him 9 times, and they went downfield and scored. Go figure. But anyway, the cool one, though, was we had pregame passes for Carolina, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
At Bank of America Stadium. We stayed for the national anthem, and then they kicked us off the field because we had to go get to our seats. Panthers won the toss. They went 3 and out. They punted. And do you remember who caught the punt?
I can't remember.
Mark Mariani.
My God.
And all of a sudden, we're walking back to our seats. We hear this kind of screaming and yelling, whatever. Mariani ran the punt back 87 yards for a touchdown. So by the time we get to our seats, 45 seconds in the game, it's already 7-0, and the Titans went on to win that one 30-3.
And this dude had a 75 speed rating on Madden. This guy was not fast. And that was when our special teams was just atrocious.
Oh, God, yeah.
That remember how bad our punt teams used to be? That one season where we let up I think it was that Vikings game, and they had 2 blocked punts, and one of them was for a touchdown in the same game. But I remember that because I thought it was a kickoff.
No,
was it really?
No, it was
okay.
Punt. And then he had a kickoff later in the game.
That he ran back for a touchdown?
Yes. And Chris Johnson had an 87-yard run or something like that. But the cool part about it, though, is you guys, I know it sounds crazy, but to have a team you love in the NFC and a team that has been my team in the AFC forever. But when they play each other and there's a little bit of, thing, it's been cool to be able to be at all but one of them. So that's kind of cool.
That's wild. I didn't even remember because one of them this season you went 10-0 or no? You were going like
no.
Okay.
That's when Brett Favre played for the Jets and he beat us. I was at that game.
You were at the last. I remember because you kept saying I was going to stop.
They were 10-0. I was going to buy a shirt.
Have you seen a game in Nashville where they've won?
Yeah, they beat Seattle when I took Nate.
Oh, right. Okay. Because
we took Will, the Patriots killed us. I took you to the Panthers. The Panthers beat us. Seattle, we played like the game of our life.
And this was like not a good Titans, and it was a very good Seattle.
It was Mariota. It was Delaney Walker.
But like you hadn't taken off as a great, and you hadn't taken off.
But we were 9-7. It was our 9-7 season.
You're 9-7 like 3 seasons.
I know, but still, never mind. Never mind. On we go. But those are mine.
All right, Tyler. What about you?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of them that are, pretty much the same as, everyone else. And for sure, like the 2015 game versus the Cardinals, the 2013 against the Saints, of course. But just thinking about it some more, the game against the Odell Beckham, Josh Norman game at home, Giants versus Panthers. That was just one of, Cam just having that moment on the sidelines, like, yeah, we're going to, march down the field and score after they scored. And I remember we kicked that field goal, and then, just seeing Odell Beckham and Josh Norman going at it all game, it was just cool to watch because, I mean, Odell got the better of him for some of it, for some plays, but I thought that was when, Norman really proved himself against Odell that game. And, throughout the whole season, he was just really good against top tier receivers. And then, of course, the Raiders game I went to, and, it was just awesome. 2015 against the Falcons, our Super Bowl year, of course, that was, big game. That year against the Seahawks in the playoffs to get us to the championship game, that was, we'd finally beat the Seahawks after, such a rough time, against the few years before with the Cam Chancellor pick six. That was really rough. So it just felt good to beat them. And then also Cam's rookie season, towards the end of the year, it was Christmas Eve, 2011. The Panthers beat the Bucs 48-16, and that's when the offense really looked good and Cam really started coming together. They put up 48 points, and I remember he had a few really nice runs that game, and that was just an exciting thing. For even though they had a rough season overall.
Yeah, I mean, literally any game from 2015 except for that Falcons one in the Super Bowl could be on my top 5 list. Honestly, like you had the Giants game, you had the Colts and the Packers both on primetime television. You had the Titans one we went to. You had the Seahawks one. Did I say that wasn't? That Seahawks regular season one should have probably been in my top 5 too. Yeah. But I think one of the weirdest games I've ever seen was the Giants game, because the Giants matchups are always weird. I think the time we played them before the Odell Beckham, Josh Norman one was when we played them in MetLife Stadium, and that was it was like a Monday night game, I think, and they whooped us. They scored an aggressive amount of points on us, if I'm remembering correctly. It was like 2012, I think. But then this last one against the Giants in Bank of America Stadium in 2018, I believe, maybe 2019. And it was so weird. The reason it's weird is because for whatever reason, that was the first game, and it was one of the only games where we let, normally when you have a game, you either introduce the offense or the defense starting lineups go out on the field. That week, we decided to let the special teams be introduced. So you're letting out Graham Gano, you're letting out Michael Pilardi, whoever our punter was at the time. You're letting out J.J. Jansen and some other guys like that, and Colin frickin' Jones. And that game had more special teams points than ever. That was when Odell Beckham was the punt returner for the Giants. He muffed the punt, or he was trying to block. The ball hit him in the back of the foot, bounced into the end zone, hit another guy, and Colin Jones dove in it for a touchdown. Colin Jones only frickin' a touchdown ever. And then, of course, Graham Gano had a couple field goals in that game. Cam had a passing touchdown to Curtis Samuel. But then, of course, the game-winning play was a 63-yard field goal from Graham Gano to win the game. And that was just insane, because I remember we had 2 or 3 timeouts, and we had about a minute and a half left, and we drove downfield, but then decided to, and I was coming back from a family trip, so we were in the game looking at it on ESPN, like on the app, and I saw we had 30 seconds and 2 timeouts, and we ran like a 2-yard play up the middle and then spiked the ball, which we thought was supposed to be, it was set, like the graphic said 4th and 2, and the app said 4th and 2, right. And it said we'd spiked the ball, and I was like, what? Why the hell did we spike the ball? Did we just lose? And come to find out, we had gotten the first down. They didn't think we did. And so, they challenged it, but we still got the first down. but that we didn't use our timeouts at all. We were like, and it was like a 63-yarder, and we had a chance to like drive down the field more. And Rivera was like, "Nah, just kick it from here. We're good." And I was like, "We're kicking a 63-yarder. We're kicking a 63-yarder." And of course, we made it, and it would have been good from 70 after I watched the replay of it. But and of course, there's so many games in the Cam Newton era that I think could have been in my top 5 just because of the way that he played and how much how the moments he had around him. So. What are y'all's? What's one of y'all's favorite Cam Newton plays, or even moments, really, that y'all have?
Okay, I'll about to say, go ahead, Tyler.
All right, yeah. So there's a few that come to mind. I don't want to steal any of your guys's, but the one that first comes to mind is his scramble against the Patriots, where you guys were watching that game and the Money in the Bank, where just the pressure is I think the whole defensive line's in the backfield. He makes all 4 guys miss and picks up a first down. That was just an incredible play. I probably watched that play a number of times. And then I'll let you guys go for the rest of them.
I say that play he scored. I think it said. I remember. I think he scrambled. He ran 75 yards to pick up 14. I think is what it was.
Really?
Even if it ended up directionally. But Shantice, what about you?
I gotta go with the goal line touchdown against Atlanta. It was a passing touchdown. I think the Ed Dixon? It's the 2015 year where he sidearm throws it, zips it past the defensive lineman's helmet, zips it past the defender's stretched out arm, and still touchdown.
I think Ed caught it with one hand, didn't he? I think he even.
We were talking about this before we recorded.
That's what Tyler's about.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite play from Cam. Just slice it through the defenders. It was that's definitely my favorite Cam Newton touchdown.
I'm gonna go with what Tyler said.
Okay.
And the reason I love that scramble was, growing up watching the Oilers and the Titans, Steve McNair. That kind of, Steve McNair and Cam Newton remind me a lot of each other. Just that tough, that speed, lay it all out on the line, wouldn't slide. They're going to get hit. They're going to come back to the huddle. They're going to do it again. But I watched that play as we were doing Money in the Bank the other night, and then I went back and pulled up my computer to watch the 99 AFC Championship between the Jags and Titans and watch McNair run, and it just made me think of Cam. And just he reminds me so much of Steve, and to watch him do that, what he did against New England that night was – that was pretty cool. That, to me, was one of my favorites.
Yeah, and that, there's, like I said with Cam, there's so many moments, so many plays. The flip against the Texans.
Is that the flip where he lands?
Yeah.
In the end zone?
Yeah, and
I couldn't remember what it was.
I almost got fired from my job. I was working at Queen City Q Barbecue here in Charlotte, and I told them, do not shift me on a Sunday. I tried to take every Sunday off, and they shifted me on a Sunday. It was that game, and I was watching it. I was the bus boy too. I wasn't even anything. So I was cleaning the table, busting it, and I had my dish bucket, right? And I'm walking across, and there's 80 TVs, and I'm walking, and Cam flips, and I kid you not, there was a lot of people in there because it was a Sunday, but I go, oh crap, and the dish bucket just drops to the ground. Nothing broke, thank God, because it was just utensils and cups. It made the loudest noise.
It wasn't a far drop from his hands to the floor.
Hey, that was low. That was a very low blow.
No, that was. All right.
Smart ass. But so that could be there. Cam dunking it on Desmond Trufant going to the end zone against the Falcons in 2017, I think. And you have Cam bodying 8 Falcons defenders to get that first down in a different Falcons game. A lot of good moments against the Falcons. His long runs, his Superman dives into the end zones. But then for me also, there's moments that he had, even where he was either off the field or on the field. My favorite moment for Cam Newton was, and it was funny because it was kind of a callback to, because in that Giants game, it was a double reverse. He pitched it to McCaffrey, who pitched it to DJ, or who pitched it to Curtis, and then Curtis pitched it to DJ. And DJ's weaving it around the field. And Cam, this was coming off of, he wasn't injured at the time, but I remember he ended the season a little iffy. And Cam just absolutely bodies the Giants linebacker to go and make a block. And that allows DJ Moore to get an extra 20 yards upfield. And other than that, the only times I had seen a quarterback do that was, and he's going to guffaw, was Marcus Mariota about a week and a half before that, who laid a guy out on a run. And then maybe I've seen Russell Wilson do it once, but Cam absolutely bodied the guy. And I was you don't see very many, especially it was funny because in the championship game against the Cardinals, there was a similar play where Or actually, no, it wasn't even in a championship game. It was in just a game a couple weeks before that. It was the same kind of play, and Cam could have gone to block, and he kind of just like threw his body in and stopped. Like he didn't block, he just kind of got in the dude's way, and I was like, that's kind of Cam. But then to see Cam like light a guy up, I'd never been so fired up. I remember the first moment that I truly, truly loved Cam and truly was like, okay, this is our dude. It was that game against the Saints where it was the back and bounty game, and Steve Smith went up, climbed up the ladder for a catch, shrugged the dude off, ran about 20 yards for a touchdown, and then frickin' Roman Harper came and laid him out. And Steve Smith, spins the ball, gets up, and is looking for blood. Like he's going straight to the guy. And that ensues one of the biggest like bench clearing fights that I've ever seen with the Panthers. There were a lot that season too. And normally you'll see, your linemen, your tight ends, your maybe a running back or receiver come up and either get into or pull people away. Cam is right in the guy's face, and he's got him by the neck and is like screaming at the dude. And I was like, you don't see quarterbacks. Like, you don't see most quarterbacks do that or get, like, you might see them yell at something, but you don't see them get right in their face. Like, Cam was in the middle of the pile, and I was like, all right, this guy's a dog. And, of course, Cam could just get at you with his charisma and his snark. And it was that Panthers game here in Carolina. And Clay Matthews was like, oh, it's that wheel route. Like, watch the wheel route. And obviously Cam was like, oh, you've been watching film? Watch this. And then Cam proceeds to literally have McCaffrey run the real route and still scores on him anyway. That's probably one of my overall favorites because it was like that was just the swagger and the charisma that Cam took. He was like, okay, you know what we're going to do. And that's Cam's whole, his whole mantra. You know what we're going to do. You know I'm going to run. You still got to stop me. Like every third down, he's like, I'm going to sneak it, but you still have to put bodies in front of me and stop me from getting it. So that was just kind of embodied Cam's whole persona.
The showman on the field is fantastic, but what really got me near down the road a little bit was after the touchdowns, giving the balls to the kids in the stands.
Yeah.
No matter what stadium he was at, and whoever scored the touchdown, if he could coax them from give me the ball.
Yeah.
And, it's your first touchdown, you're going to keep it. But, every play, every touchdown, I'm going to go find a kid. We're going to take a ball. We're going to give it to a kid. And, you don't see that.
No, you don't.
You don't see that hardly at all.
Cam had a lot.
I think that relationship with the Cam had a very, I say had, like past tense. We'll get to that in a minute. A very Tiger Woods type, drawing attention to him.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, like kids wanted to be Tiger Woods on the golf course. For the longest time, kids wanted to be Cam Newton and probably still want to be Cam Newton. But I think it was because he had that genuine relationship, that coolness with the kids. So whatever your favorite play was on the field, for me, it grew more and more to be a fan of his with that.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think, like, especially in your time, of covering sports, watching sports, and I'd never seen, in terms of fan interaction, I've never seen, and of course it was in 2015, and the fans were, that was the height of our fan base, and it was the height of our success. But I'd never seen a quarterback or a player in the NFL even envelop the entire stadium where Cam was running up and down the sidelines waiting to hear everyone cheer. Remember, he's running literally like a giant child. He's running up and down the sidelines because we were kicking the crap out of somebody. I think it was the Bucs late in the season. Like it was like week 15. It's the end of the game, and Cam is literally running down sideline to sideline waiting to hear cheers from the stadium, and literally the entire stadium was getting in on it. I can't recall a player or a quarterback that was able to kind of envelop and not even in every game because he didn't do every game, but in just one specific moment where he was able to envelop the entire stadium, except for the people that were there for the other team. But who cares about them anyway? So I was just something like the kind of the presence he had in terms of the fans and in the state, like you no matter if he was on the field or not, like you looked at him, you saw him if you were in that stadium. Like that's where your eyes went. So that's another big fan moment, or another big thing for me was Cam's charisma, and you saw it even, like you said, even off the field with charity or whatever he was doing. I mean, that's just kind of what it was.
Yeah, I don't think that in my lifetime I've seen in sports and especially football a player who could engage 70,000 plus people the way Cam did, and the way Cam does. I'm thinking of quarterbacks and players, and not even the TOs or the I don't even know. I mean I can't maybe a JJ Watt. I don't know
because they would draw reactions, but not interactions.
Right. Maybe JJ Watt. I see JJ Watt get that stadium fired up a couple times, but no, I don't.
Well, actually, the only one.
I about to say Cam's a NBA-esque superstar in the NFL because you don't see too many guys in the NFL. Like there's a short list. Like you got your Deions, and there's really like a short list of guys that are truly entertainers or who go into games seeking to entertain. Like this Deions, T.O., even like Steve Smith, like those guys went out there looking to entertain. Like though you don't see, especially at the quarterback position, he's the only quarterback I could think of that's ever wanted to just truly be an entertainer.
Yeah, I agree. And he said it. He said it from the get-go, which is why he got so much crap at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm here to entertain. They're like, you're here to play football. But, I mean, that you're right, Shantice. I mean, and I don't know that I've ever seen a quarterback do that.
And he just always had
Peyton Manning, maybe. I'm just kidding.
I was the only person to think it was like Ray Lewis, just with his introduction coming out of the stadium. But that's still like reaction, not interaction, really. I mean, the kind of interaction. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so now we get another different one. So pick one. Would you rather have had one more season with a completely healthy Newton-Olsen duo, or would you rather have had a season where Cam and McCaffrey both started the entire year?
Cam and CMC. Easily, because I mean we never got to see it. We never got to see a full season of them both being starters and being healthy. I mean, obviously, Cam and Greg being healthy is 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons for Greg Olsen. We've seen that. I would have loved to have seen the type of weapon McCaffrey's turned into, where I thought Cam's career was going prior to him being injured, and the space he was moving into as a quarterback and as a passer. Fam, I just couldn't. I don't think it would have been a better duo as far as like a backfield, because I mean at the time. Think about Cam's still the best short yardage running back in the game of football when he's healthy. Ain't nobody stopping from getting anything short yardage. I mean, it's so much it's such a huge dynamic you could have with both of those guys being healthy, because at their peak they're just the most unstoppable forces at their position when they're at their best.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just because we really hadn't seen it. Cam started to, I don't want to say fall off, but got injuries and, was just missing a lot of games. Kind of when Christian was starting to pick it up and really become the guy. And, they only overlapped that 1 year for Christian's rookie year where Cam was just completely healthy. And then from there, he battled those injuries. And for his rookie year, he was, as you said earlier in the show, he was, behind Jonathan Stewart, but still got a lot of work. And but yeah, I would definitely want to see that for a whole season, just because of what you could do with Cam as a running threat, and then of course McCaffrey, and then also looking at the rest of our offense too with Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. I mean, this team right now is surrounding the quarterback position better than we've ever done, and of course it's the first year Cam's gone.
I'm gonna let Jeff go, because he's been scribbling the same thing on his paper like Rain Man, and I'm kind of terrified.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go Cam and Greg, and the reason being is, I think that Greg allowed Cam to be the passer that nobody thought he could be. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that Greg allowed Cam. When you're a quarterback and you got a tight end that has 3 1,000-yard seasons, that shows people, okay, you know what? There's a quarterback who can throw the football. And I know he's had some other targets to throw to and stuff like that. Maybe not great ones. Greg was a great one and will be a great one. And I just think that it helped Cam be looked at more as so early on in his career, he was the guy who was going to run people over, who was going to get that yardage. He was going to run. He was going to run. As he matured, you saw him mature as a quarterback who would throw the ball and find Greg Olsen or find Steve or whoever he needed to find. Do you know what I'm getting at? So for me, I'd have liked to have seen, one more year of those two together.
Yeah.
And watch Cam continue to take that journey as a quarterback who throws the football and stuff like that. And that's just me. No,
and it's funny because my initial answer was Cam and Greg. Especially I think I put it on Twitter a couple days ago, and there's a video of Cam when Greg wasn't healthy, and Cam was like, just wait till I get my dog back. Like, just wait till I get my dog back. It's going to be over for y'all. And that made me miss their friendship, their duo so much. But the interesting thing is that I changed my answer now, and it's kind of greedy, but my greedy answer is I want one where all three of them were healthy the entire time.
That's where I was going.
That's ideal.
But the problem is that I don't think that McCaffrey, because you talked about Greg being his safety valve, allowing him to be the passer he wanted to be. McCaffrey kind of took that role when Greg was injured. I mean, you had Ian Thomas, but like when McCaffrey came out, especially his first year as a receiver, you were seeing McCaffrey get more of those third down receptions than Greg was getting. Because at that time, Greg wasn't, he wasn't healthy. But so what I'm saying, so I don't know if the two of them could have coexisted as receivers, because I think they could. They could have, but I think that
help me out though in terms of CMC and those passes with Cam.
Yeah.
Were those more the dink and dunks, or were they more down the field like he would throw to Greg? You know what I'm saying? Well, it's two different things. Hit CMC coming out of the backfield.
He was coming out of that's
finding the 20 to 30 yards downfield to Greg is where I'm getting at. But I know what you're going. I know where you're going.
Well, even so, most of the passes to Greg, honest to God, were not that far downfield. Greg would make the separation. He would run the better routes, and he would be able to get running after the catch. But a lot of Greg's, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of Greg's receptions for the most part were like maybe 10 yards downfield, or those post routes, those deeper slants.
Maybe 15.
Maybe 15 that he would then break off, because he actually had that speed when he wasn't as when he was, when his foot was healthy. But and so yes, the greedy answer is I would want all three of them. I mean, just having the time.
All three would be great,
because that would be an insane trio, and you have, because it's basically old McCaffrey and young Greg Olsen is what you had in terms of the two. I mean, that was the father and son that they made. The comparison that they made all the time, because I mean it's the two white dudes on your offense that actually do look honestly a little similar, if we're not if we're not being horribly off about it. So that's what I would have loved to have seen, is all three of them, because we still never got to see that.
I will say this though, from a legacy standpoint, I would have loved to have seen Greg Olsen finish his career with Cam, just because of how much production he had. Because it's going to be hard for Greg, because he came in through an era where there were so many great tight ends that he's never been the undisputed best tight end. So I thought maybe that, okay, if he finishes with Cam, he keeps having these, maybe not 1,000 yards, but 800-yard years, 700-yard years, where he's still getting about 6 to 8 touchdowns, that by the end of his career, his numbers are up there with the greats of all time at that position, that people would have to start mentioning him as one of the better tight ends to ever play the game. But, he's playing with Russell Wilson now, so hopefully if they incorporate him into the offense as they should, because they haven't had a great tight end weapon there in a minute, hopefully his career will keep on that uptrend, and he'll hopefully get that recognition as a all-timer at some point.
Yeah, actually, thanks for saying that, because that also was another factor of my original answer, was that just because of the legacy, like for the ending of Olsen's career, I hate the way that it ended, and I would have loved to have one more season where he was healthy, and then he goes, okay, now I'm retire, or I'm going to leave on my own accord, not the way that we had it end. And I think, I think exactly what you said. I mean, had Gronkowski not been in the league around the same time Greg was, you can say whatever you want about Tyler Eifert, about Travis Kelce. In my mind, Greg Olsen's the best tight end in the league. And I think he gets a lot more recognition for it, because he was doing, like Travis Kelce was doing, but the Chiefs did not reach this level of success until the latter end of Greg's career. Travis Kelce was still putting up good numbers, but as far as recognition goes, the Panthers had much more recognition than the Chiefs did at that time. Tyler Eifert, same kind of thing, but Tyler Eifert was playing again with A.J. Green. He was not getting the bulk of the receptions. And the only other person who could have maybe argued was, at the time, was Jimmy Graham with the Saints, but then once he left the Saints, he was nothing. So I'm not going to hear that. Because it was funny, because there were times when Jordan Reed was being said he was a better tight end than Greg Olsen. It was like, no, he's not. He's not at all. Like that.
People get confused that Olsen's not this flashy athlete, but he's productive. Like he just produces. I can't help that he can't. Help that he can't. Yeah. Go ahead. He's your blue.
He might not run the prettiest routes, but he has he will put his foot in the dirt, and he'll put you in the dirt, and then he'll get in a couple extra yards. So that was, if Gronk didn't exist in that time frame, then I think Greg gets much more recognition in terms of his legacy and in terms of the time frame, because he was putting up numbers at the same kind of rate as Gronkowski. But
I'll put it to you like this, and we can talk about Gronk as much as you want. I would take Greg every day and twice on Sundays over Gronk. And what I mean by that is Greg Olsen was, and will be the consummate professional who ran routes, who did things the right way, who, when you watch him run a route, you know what he was running. Sometimes I felt like Gronk just found a spot to get open and Brady got him the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at? To me, Gronk was a robot and a monster. Greg, to me, will go down as one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game, just because of how he played the game. And you watch him, the routes, the way he ran, the pure routes, the way he got open, and his work ethic and stuff. To me, we keep saying he played during the time of Gronk and stuff. And I get it. I understand it, the Patriot, and all that stuff like that. But to me, and I think this year, Greg Olsen will have 7 to 10 touchdowns.
I think he's the best tight end. He's the best tight end the Seahawks have had in the last 4 years.
And he's still one of the top. And to me, he's still one of the top tight ends in the NFL.
It just all depends on that foot.
Seriously.
So I would love to have gotten Greg's work, his skill set, and his work acumen in Gronk's body. That would be the best thing. That's getting greedy. That would be unreal. Are you kidding me? Like, think about that. Like, you have someone that with Greg's style running at you in Gronk's body, the Terminator. That would be and Greg's hands also were incredibly underrated.
Right.
Greg had some of the best hands I've ever seen from a tight end.
Gronk never look graceful. No. Gronk never looked like
he looked like he looked too big to be out there running right. He really should have been offensive tackle.
He'd throw up them big mitts and the ball would be there. But Greg, you're right. You could see Greg actually.
He was basically like Andy Reid playing in high school.
You've seen that? Yeah,
he's fantastic. Fantastic. That's what he looked like. Or Cam in that freaking Buick commercial where he's botting little kids in Pee-wee. But yeah, that was just all right. So last little thing, and this could get either very ugly or it could be succinct. True or false? Cam Newton will be on an NFL roster when the season resumes. And y'all,
let Tyler go first.
Yeah, let Tyler go first.
Right, yeah. I'll go true here. If you said he was going to sign before the draft, I would definitely say false, just because I think, there's no need to rush it. Nobody's going to be rushing out and signing him at this point. So teams are just going to wait to see how the draft falls and then start contacting him after the draft. But I think for him, he's going to probably wait it out until, whenever we start practicing or playing again, whenever that is, wait for an injury because there's really not too many jobs out there for starting quarterbacks. And I don't know, like the Packers, Steelers, and some of those teams are looking for a backup quarterback, but I'm not sold that Cam's going to go somewhere and just be content being the backup. So I think Cam's going to wait for an injury somewhere to sign. He'll have plenty of opportunities to go sign somewhere. He probably already does, but he's probably just going to wait it out until there's an injury or an opening spot. That's what I think.
If we're saying by the season opener, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Cam's on our roster. I won't front. I think because of what Tyler's saying, he's gonna wait until there's a job open, and obviously he won't go to a team that's gonna be drafting a quarterback and getting a quarterback battle because he's proven much more that he should not be in a quarterback battle with his skill set and how he's played. He shouldn't be in a quarterback battle. I think by the time the season resumes, I don't see him being on the roster. I see him playing the field out, waiting, like Tyler said, waiting until somebody gets hurt and then signing with a team at that point.
I'm going to say false. I don't think he's on the roster. And I'm not sure he's on the roster all season. And I think it's going to boil down to this. So let me just give you a 2 cents here. It's kind of weird, too, because you heard some buildup of, Jadeveon Clowney and Cam and Jameis, and now it's all been quiet. And I don't know if it's because they can't get to physicals, they can't have conversations, or whatever that looks like. But it seems like, all the conversations just gone by the wayside, which may just be where it is. The interesting part's going to be, and you two guys have hit on it already. My question is, where is Cam's head at? Is it the young Cam, the immature kind of show me the money type deal, and I want to be an entertainer? Or is it the Cam Newton that's mature to become a quarterback? Does that make sense? And where is his head at? And the gist is, can he go somewhere and be a backup? Would he be willing to go somewhere and sign on and be a backup? Because I don't know, depending on how this all plays out over the next 2 or 3 months with training camps and, mini camps and all of that, getting him into a system, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to go off, and I'm going to be the one outlier. I'm going to say true. And it's going to be based off of, and I don't believe, well, actually, excuse me, let me re-say that. I think it might be false because I don't know if he's going to be exactly when the season resumes. But if it gets to that point where there's, like you said, waiting for a position, I think that Cam, I think we've seen it. This is a different Cam now. Because I think had this been the Cam, that's what you're talking about, the show me the money, the entertainer, the Cam of old that cares more about being
LA, New York.
Cares more about being the hero.
Right.
Than being a team player. I think that Cam would have walked out the door and not said anything about the Panthers. I'd be like, oh, y'all aren't like, you want me to prove myself to you after all I've done for the city? Like, you're going to treat me like I'm out the door. Screw y'all. I think the way that Cam kept trying to stick around and play for the Panthers is because I think in his mind now he has something that he wants to prove. He wants to prove that he is still the MVP that he once was. And now I'm thinking he's in this headspace of, if that means that I have to go be a backup, I have to sign with a team that might have a quarterback battle, I might have to battle someone for that starting position, I might not be guaranteed that position, then so be it. I'm going to show you that y'all were wrong about me. I'm going to show the NFL that they were wrong to discount me. And now I'm going to make y'all all pay for it. I think that's more of the mindset that Cam is in, where I want to go somewhere and be an athlete and be the MVP that I once was and can be again. I don't care about where, like, he might be. I don't care about entertaining a city anymore. I don't care about, because he was able to get away with a lot in Carolina, the outfits and everything. He was able to, because he was comfortable. He loved it for him. The rest of the NFL didn't. I think he might kind of shy out. He might conceal himself a little bit more in terms of that outlandish. I mean, he might not, because he's also Cam. He's unapologetic. He's unapologetic.
He'll wear the.
Oh, he's still going to wear the outfits.
I think you're going to see a Cam that is is itching to get back onto the field, and will take whatever route he has to in order to do so. So if it's a problem of Cam has a couple options and none of the options are he'd be a starter, I think he joins a team. Now, if the problem is nobody's coming to him, then that's, there's nothing he can do. But if you're saying he's not going to be on a roster because there's not going to be anyone who wants him as a starter, I don't think that'll be the case. I think he will take a place where he will be a backup and try to become the starter by the end of the year.
Okay, one quick thing. Go around real quick. One team then. Go.
That he would.
If he's on a roster,
Chargers.
who's it going to be?
Chargers. And try to beat out Tyrod. I think that's the most unproven that they're going out with they've lost their quarterback that they've had for the last almost decade, or maybe even a decade, and now going with a guy who has the same kind of skill set, the same kind of, because I don't see him going to, I don't see the Patriots going after him, in all honesty. But I think the Chargers could. I know we keep saying it all the time, but I think that's a place where he would try to go to a quarterback battle with Tyrod. I'd be like, all right, you want me to go for, like, I'll go with Tyrod, and I'll beat him out.
You know why people say they can't see it? I will say this: the only quarterback that's out here that could take on the responsibility of filling the shoes of Tom Brady and not be overwhelmed would be Cam. If you were going to look, like, because Jarrett Stidham can't do it. He hasn't. Mind you, we haven't seen him play in the NFL yet, but chances are he's probably gonna wet the bed. I mean, you replacing the guy that won 6 rings. I just can't imagine a guy that was unproved, who really didn't have a great college career, hasn't proven anything in the league, could come in and feel confident about replacing that. So I could see the Patriots actually taking a shot at Cam, but that's just an outlier situation.
Yeah, I'm trying to get creative here. Just thinking of some more options. Of course, the Chargers and Patriots kind of stand out just because they're two of the teams right now that have, holes at quarterback. But we'll see how both their situations play out. But I don't want to predict an injury or anything. But with the Colts, they're kind of in a window right now, and they don't have a quarterback signed under contract for 2021. And Phil Rivers right now, he's getting up there in age, and we saw last season his noodle arm. And so if they start off slow or something happens, they're trying to win now. So maybe if something happens to Rivers, maybe they bring Cam in.
Okay, I'm going to go completely off the rails here. I'm going to stick with the NFC South and say he ends up in Atlanta.
We talked about that before.
Matt Ryan.
I wouldn't be surprised. He could beat out Matt Ryan.
He could beat out Matt Ryan. And
yeah.
I just throw that out there.
No, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. If he's staying home,
I think Atlanta will want Cam more than anything.
I think if he showed up and said, I want to play, I think they would set Matt Ryan on the bench tomorrow.
I don't know about all that.
They won't bench him. They won't bench him just off the rip.
Yeah, but Matt, after the Super Bowl, Matt Ryan has done nothing.
That's fair.
Ever since the collapse in the Super Bowl, they haven't recovered. So it's just an interesting way to end it. I want to throw that out there.
Another place I could see, if there was one team where the GM or the owner might have a bit of hesitation on him, and the one team that would have the people to vouch for him and be like, look, where do you think he can come, would be the Redskins. If Cam has a good relationship with Ron, and if Ron is good, Tom, TD, and Norman, I'm fairly certain would, in a drop of a hat, all vouch for Cam. It'd be like, look, if you don't think you want to sign this, if you're afraid to sign this guy, you're wrong. Sign him. No matter what you put him in, he can either go up ahead of whoever the freaking Redskins quarterback is. I don't even remember.
Maybe we'll just bench Tannehill and have Cam and Derek in the back.
Man.
God almighty, that would be insane.
Oh,
Cam
heaviest
McCaffrey,
backfield
Derek-
ever.
Woo, 30.
Jonnu Smith.
Oh my God, that would be
Corey
unreal.
Day.
I would love that.
That would be interesting. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, wherever he goes, I just hope he goes somewhere. And I mean, I don't know if I'll buy a jersey wherever he goes. I might buy an Olsen Seahawks jersey. Not gonna lie, the jerseys are clean, and I
I'll
wouldn't.
flip it to you real quick
Because
because
it
it
my
was.
Clausen jersey.
I'll go this.
Still looking for a Jimmy Clausen jersey.
I'll say this too. I could go back and say, true, he'll be on a roster, and false, he won't be a starter. I could do that. Like, I think he'll.
So true,
he could be on a roster.
So Falsey would be a starter? You said Falsey won't be a starter.
No, he'd be on a roster, but not be a starter.
Okay.
So I could see that too.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
ready for the kicker?
Yep.
All
What we
right.
got?
So Matt Rule. Most guys, when they come coaching, they pick one kind of area and stick with it. DB coach, and then they go to assistant defensive coach. Blah, blah. Matt Rule has been all over the map,
All right.
coaching wise. Ready? Linebacker coach,
Okay.
defensive line coach,
Okay.
special teams coach,
Okay.
assistant head coach, running game coordinator. I'm not exactly sure what that is.
Is that a
That's a
position?
position.
Does that
It's
exist?
quarterback coach,
What?
offensive coordinator.
How?
How do you go from that to assistant offensive line coach?
So you got demoted.
He's not a big boy.
He's not a big boy. He's not,
I mean,
he
he
got bodied by
It
that.
doesn't like he'd be like an offensive line mind, crazy people
Yeah, that's crazy.
to head coach.
Good Lord. So that's 9 different coaching positions
Yeah.
in the NFL. And then both sides. I mean, that's pretty much everything.
That's everything.
Other than DBs and wide receivers. Because is running game coordinator a running back coach? Or is that...
I would think so. Well, he may not be the coach, but he's...
So does he only coordinate the running plays of their offense?
Man, look,
And they have a...
Yeah.
They have a
when you start hearing names like passing coordinator or running game coordinator, that just means we got you a job because we like you.
Yeah.
Right,
And
exactly.
you
We
may
found
know-
a spot for you.
You
Or
may
we
you may
create-
know somebody in the office.
We don't want you to be the OC, but we don't have an OC.
Kicking game
Yeah.
follow through coordinator.
Yeah, I was going to
whatever.
say, kicking coordinator. That's ridiculous. Well, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope y'all will check out Money in the Bank, the Brawl Network website, and all the articles we've been putting out. I know Tyler just put out a mock draft, a 7-round mock draft for, was it overall or just the Panthers?
Just the Panthers. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's all we need to see.
All right.
And that's all I look for anyway when I go to mock drafts. I look for us and the maybe Titans
Maybe
and,
easier
it's
on
all-
you.
whatever Gamecocks happen. So, yeah, next week
Game on
it's
next
going to be a huge draft special for y'all, obviously. We're going to be putting out the episode earlier than normal. We're going to be putting it out Thursday morning as opposed to Friday morning before the draft, obviously. We're going to analyze Tyler's full 7-round or his 7-round Panther mock draft because, again, we don't really care about the other players. And then we're going to have Tyler's going to actually have a very special guest coming on Money in the Bank this coming week. We're not going to tell y'all who. You're going to have to wait and see who that is. So until next time, like we said, check out the Brawl Network, Money in the Bank, all the great deals they have at fanatics.com. And until next time, everybody, keep pounding.